Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. It is a Monday for me, even though it was a Thursday for the rest of the world. I just came off 2 off days, and like I said in my reaction video that I'll probably get up tomorrow, today is feeling like a Monday, man. I woke up late, slept through alarms, must have been silencing them. I don't know, man. And naturally, it's just been like everything being thrown at me. So before I get out of here and go to work this afternoon into the early evening, I was like, I gotta get at least my non-spoiler done and up for all of you guys. What am I talking about? Well, it's Thursday, which means Disney Plus has something new. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Season 1, Episode 4, Is This Not Real Magic? And I gotta say, man, this show just continues to be something I thoroughly enjoy. When it comes to the tone, the type of, show we're gonna get, like I said last week, starting to dip our toe into the courtroom stuff a little bit more. And then rolling into this week, we're kind of establishing that courtroom type structure where we're going to see Jen as She-Hulk in court probably every single episode. She's going to get a new case, I would imagine, every episode. Doesn't seem like every B storyline will be a secondary case for the group that kind of intersects at the bar, but I think the bar is going to become a place that we see Jen and her friends at every episode. Whether it's, an A and B storyline that involve two cases, or like this episode, an A storyline with a case and a B storyline for Jen, you're going to be dealing with kind of like two different stories going on. And I did thoroughly enjoy this episode. However, it didn't quite hit the way the rest of the show has been hitting for me. I'd probably rank it as my least favorite, but that's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. I laugh this whole episode. And there are lots of funny things. We once again have a cameo appearance by the good old Mr. Benedict Wong, a.k.a. Wong. He is kind of, for this episode, synopsis, we'll keep it spoiler free, but the synopsis is essentially Wong's got an issue with a guy who's using magic incorrectly, wants to kind of, sue him or bring him to court to kind of stop that type of thing. So we do get a little Wong cameo action, and all of that stuff is hysterical. The person playing the person playing said magician, he's like a regular magician, but he's there's some actual magic stuff going on, is played by none other than Reese Coiro. And you're going to go, none other than Reese Coiro? Who is that? Well, that's none other than Billy Walsh from Entourage. Oh, that was one of my favorite things about this episode. Billy Walsh was a character in Entourage who was a director that worked with Vinny. He was kind of out there, and I found him highly entertaining. And performance-wise, I thought Coiro was always fantastic when he was on Entourage. And you get a little Billy Walsh vibe to his magician Donnie Blaze. Now, no spoilers. All I'll say is it's the first time I've seen the last name Blaze pop up, and that could maybe be a nod to not Donnie Blaze, not Johnny Blaze. The one, not the only. There's been a few, but the OG Ghost Rider. That was the first thing when I saw Blaze. I was like, could we be hinting at a Blaze somewhere else in this universe? But no direct correlation in this episode per se. But with the things that Blaze is doing in his magic shows, it's a really funny but also scary scenario, and it sets up like real world courtroom drama type stuff for Jen, or She-Hulk. And I'm not gonna say that the courtroom stuff itself is super dramatic, but the way that she approaches it, the thing that I'm loving specifically about the last 2 episodes is getting to see Jen do law stuff, man. Like, seeing how her brain works and how these crazy, MCU powered scenarios get thrown at her, and she is breaking it down like you would any normal case in America. Last week, Wong was like, when she's like, "You gotta go by the book," and he's like, "Yeah, the Book of Ashanti." She's like, No, the Book of American Laws. And we get to obviously see more of that in the courtroom stuff. And I enjoyed it. It was a fun case. It was a light case. But for me, it's one of those like episodes you get in the middle of one of these types of court, series that, it's solid, but like doesn't really feel like it has a ton of direct like consequences that are going to play into the storyline. We really haven't gotten a real glimpse at what the MCU tie-in is to the She-Hulk show. Like, is it just going to stay these 30-minute random, case-by-case episodes? Or I would have to imagine with the Wrecking Crew showing up at the end of last week, Titania in the mix, some other villains that are coming into the world that would be in this area that could be tied to some of these people. Like, it feels like there's going to be something storyline driven that pulls us there, but we're not quite there yet. But like I said, for this week is another case that you can have fun with, and there's one absurd scene that features She-Hulk and Wong that I thoroughly enjoyed. The B plotline in this episode is Jen's dating life, and we've seen some of that in the trailers. Those things, along with the expanded pieces of those things, I thought worked really well. One of the things that I liked is, in this very PC, Me Too movement kind of world that we live in, the general idea of acknowledging an attractiveness to a person and having that be a driving factor as to why you would want to hang out with them seems like it's so, like, not okay, especially, at least from my perspective, like the male point of view. Like, in media, that can come off kind of predatory. And if you do it that way, like, oh, yo, what's up, hottie, how you doing? Like, if you're disrespectful and stuff, like, yeah, that's never gonna fly. But what was fun is you can kind of see the types of things in that realm that a female would run up into. And the way that Jen can break the fourth wall and talk directly to us, there are things that maybe don't matter, but do matter. And the way that they play with that inside the context of Jen and She-Hulk's dating life, I thought was a lot of fun. But ultimately, for me, like, the episode, it was lacking that, like, real whatever is pushing the thing forward, right? Like, we got to the end of last episode, and Jen kind of gets up after, a funny sequence with the really not very clever or smart Wrecking Crew, and she sees herself in the reflection of that window, and you feel a tone shift. And I was kind of thinking, like, maybe that's where we're going to go, start diving into that. That's going to be, like, Jen really dealing with, crap, I can't just be a lawyer. I can't just be She-Hulk the lawyer. Like, people are coming after me, like, coming after my blood, my DNA, right? And it just felt like we kind of glossed over and breezed through that, and we don't really tie into any of those things. So for that reason, it falls a little bit for me. But again, like I said, it's wildly entertaining. I had a ton of fun with the entire episode. I laughed a lot, and I found it very enjoyable. Our post-credit sequence has a nice, fun tie-in to a fourth wall break that I enjoyed, and then naturally it was a very enjoyable post-credit sequence. But yeah, I mean, I liked the concepts going on in the episode. I liked the episode, just wasn't my favorite. Mizlani continues to crush. Again, the more and more they give her these fourth wall break type opportunities, like, I really like how she just seamlessly is starting to move in and out of it, and getting to watch really the two realms of Jen, right? Like, you have this lawyer court, like, my job matters both for Jen and She-Hulk, and then opposite of that, rather than giving Pug or Nikki a case, that could follow in as their B plotline. One of the other things that kind of hurt this episode for me, not very much Nikki, no Pug at all. And that was unfortunate because I love Pug. He's one of my favorite characters on the show. But with, Jen's dating life being the B plotline here, you're really able to see these, like, two worlds, the work and the personal, for Jen and She-Hulk. And the way that she handles it, the way that she goes into dating, and how dating plays out for her. I just thought Mizlani did a lot of really good things with that. As I said, we get a little Nikki Ramos this episode, Ginger Gonzaga. I really do enjoy her as well. Her delivery, I think, is pitch perfect for what she needs to be in the show, and how she functions as a friend to Jen. It feels so natural, and especially this episode when you're starting to get into, like, the dating life of your best friends. Like, the very tiny bit that we get with Nikki was a good time this week. We do once again get a little fun, as I said, with Mr. Benedict Wong. I dug the Wong stuff. I dug what the court, like I said, what the case was, and the banter and back and forth between him and Koiro. The Wong and Donnie Blaze stuff is just, it's stupid, but it's funny. Like, it's just really, really spot on funny. And then, obviously, we get a little time with Mr. Walters, Mark Lynn-Baker. He gets a moment and a little bit of time with Jen. It seems like she's, like, fully moved back home. She's not, like, living out on her own. So we do get to have these little pop-ins, you know, and getting to see Mark Lynn-Baker pop up was fun, as per usual. And, yeah, I mean, that's really it as far as, like, I don't want to, like, tip anything crazy. It feels like there's something coming with Titania, but we're not really diving full on into that stuff yet. So yeah, this felt like, I'm not gonna say like a filler episode, because I think we do accomplish a couple things, and especially for the character, get to learn and experience some new things. But it definitely didn't feel like it was pushing everything forward the way the last 3 episodes were. So let's get the Sea Maniacs up. Like I said, it's another funny episode. I think the tone of the show is well established. It knows what it's doing, and it's going to now seem to get into more of a formula, right? Where we have a new case every episode, new thing for Jen to dive into, and how that plays into her regular life. And hopefully we get a little bit more of her friends, because I do really enjoy Pug and Nikki. But yeah, I dig the tone. I dig what the show is doing. I think it is accomplishing what it is trying to do. This one just didn't hit quite as hard for me in the humor elements. Like I said, I was missing Nikki and Pug. And I want to see a little bit more She-Hulk stuff outside of the courtroom that's not tied to Jen's life, right? Like, I want that MCU stuff to start trickling in, and it's not getting there yet. But we do have another fun cameo this week with Wong. There's a character I skipped over, played by, I have to look this up. Her name is Patty Guggenheim. I'm like, Guggenheim Museum? But she pops up. She's a very stereotypical, particular kind of like role, but it was perfect. And playing into the Wong stuff, like I said, was excellent. Like I said, seeing Jen's personal life and how dating works for her and She-Hulk was a lot of fun. But this one just felt not as, there as the other. So I'm going to go, you can't, Maslany, always fantastic. Everybody really in the show is very good. But yeah, this one was just missing a little something for me this week. So I'm going 3.5 out of 5. That's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, man. That's what I mean. Like, this show is really good. It didn't hit the way the other 3 were. So 3.5 out of 5 for me. That's it. Spoiler free. We're all done talking. If I keep talking, I might spoil something, and I don't want to do that. So now it's your turn, man. What are you guys thinking? Where are you on She-Hulk as a show? Where does this episode fall for you around the other ones? What did you think of the storyline and what was going on with both She-Hulk in her work life and in her personal life? Was anything missing for you? Did you want more Nikki or Pug? Do you want to start seeing more of that MCU storyline develop inside the context of this show? Anything you're thinking, man. Good, bad, indifferent on the episode. It's post-credit sequence. I tell you what, if you guys are fans of New Rockstars, Eric Voss might be losing his mind, because there may have been like a hint to something in the world, and I look very forward to seeing how he reacts to that. But outside of that, man, I want to know what you guys are thinking. So put everything you got, good, bad, indifferent, on the show. It's post-credit scene, anything going on with this episode, down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with C-Man anytime we're talking movies, TV, trailer reactions. I might actually go back to the movies tonight. It's been a couple weeks, and there's more than a handful of movies. Like, there was a stretch where there wasn't a lot of movies. And all of a sudden, I looked the other day, I was like, there's so many movies. So if you want to see me, go back to the theater. You want to be here when we're talking She-Hulk or Sandman, which we're into right now, getting ready for Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones stuff. I've been watching and recording, and just haven't gotten, there's so many things. But if you want to be here to see if I can accomplish all the things I want to do, or just any other content that we're throwing up, you want to show a little love support to this guy, hey, super easy. Come join C-Maniac Nation. All you got to do is jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts, and until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace! Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.